Are you a total failure? Is that how you feel? Did you try freelance writing and were never able to make any money? Or not make enough money to support yourself? Did you try and build a freelance business and it just didn't work? But in the back of your mind, you're still thinking, there's gotta be a way. It can't just be me. I've got to be able to figure out a way to do this. Well, today's video is for you because I got news for you. You can do this. It is not as hard as you're probably making it out to be, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the reset button. We are going to start from scratch, and today I'm sharing 5 things you need to do to build a successful freelance writing business after you've given up, after you've failed, after you've written it off. Because guess what? There is still hope for you yet. But if you are going to do that, we're gonna have to change your mindset. We're gonna have to put some things in place to make sure you are successful. And that's what we're gonna help you do today. So if you've been looking for a little help, if you've been looking for a kick in the ass, a little kickstart, then consider this video your wake-up call. Let's do this thing. Okay, the very first thing we need to do if you have failed in your previous attempts at creating a freelance business is to do a post-mortem and a hard reset. So what's a post-mortem? A post-mortem is when you go back and you look at an event or you look at an action or something that has happened and you use all of that previous experience to help you move forward. So when I say we're gonna do a post-mortem on our freelance business, that's what we're gonna do. So if you have already tried, if you have attempted a freelance business and it hasn't worked out, let's take a look at why that might be. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. I want you to take all the fluffiness out of it, and I want you to really think hard around why this didn't work. So ask yourself questions like this. Did I put enough effort into it? Was I focused? Did I treat it like a business and like a job? Was I sacrificing for this? Was I adjusting my plan when things weren't working out? Was I sending emails and letters of introduction on a very regular basis? Was I following up with those emails? And finally, with the way I presented myself with my freelance business, would I want to hire me? Those are just some of the questions you can ask yourself in your postmortem, and go through and be honest, because all that stuff that we learned, we're gonna take that with us moving into our reset and moving into our new business. But then the second part of that is we're gonna take all that information from the postmortem, use it in the future, but we're also gonna forget everything. We don't want all of your baggage and all of that negative mind space and all of that I'm a failure to cloud your ability to move forward. So take all that information, learn from it, file it away somewhere, but mentally reset. We're done. Brand new. Let's go. Slate is clean. We have not been a failure. We haven't even tried. We're just going to take that extra knowledge that we now have. We're going to apply it to the new thing, but we're going to treat it like this is the first time we've ever done it so that we don't keep beating ourselves up over something that happened in the past that we can't control. Does that sound good to you? Postmortem, reset, let's go. That's step number 1. Second step. Do not try and reinvent the wheel. I know, you think you're smart. You think you're smarter than everybody else out there, but there are thousands of freelance writers that have built a successful freelance writing business essentially doing all of the same stuff. So don't try and get creative and do a whole bunch of extra stuff and a bunch of extra work and add a bunch of extra stress that you don't need to do, because the path has been laid. It is out there. One of my favorite stories, my buddy Colin, he joined Location Rebel Academy years ago. And he's like, cool, I wanna work for myself. I wanna quit my job. I wanna go travel. Location Rebel Academy, that's the plan. This is how I'm gonna do it. And so he joined, and for 2 years, he didn't follow the plan. He's like, that seems kind of boring. I'm gonna do it my way. I think I know better. And nothing happened. He spun his wheels. He got frustrated. Like, it didn't work. So a couple years later, he came back. He said, Sean, okay, you're right. I was wrong. I tried it my way. It didn't work. I am going to follow Location Rebel Academy. I'm going to follow your plan for building a freelance writing business to a T and see what happens. 8 months later, quit his job as a bartender, moved to Southeast Asia, worked full-time as a digital nomad. His freelance business supported him while he traveled around and had the time of his life. And now he is back to continuing to work for himself in social media, doing something he absolutely loves. Don't reinvent the wheel. The path is laid. The process is simple. It's easy. You don't need to add the extra stress and expense and headaches of trying to figure out something totally new when the process is really easy. Here's the process. There's a link below. It's to one video. It's about 20 minutes long. How to become a freelance writer. I lay out all the steps. Yes, you can join a course like Location Rebel Academy. You can join an online community. All that stuff is going to help you. It's going to give you extra hand-holding and make the process faster. But if you just want to know what the process is, then it's all right there in this video. There's also a blog post if you prefer to read. You can read it in 5 minutes. The plan is very simple. Don't reinvent the wheel. You don't need to. Step number 3, if I were you and you failed previously with building a freelance writing business, what I would do is I would go out and find a mentor. Maybe it's a real person in life that's a freelancer you know that can help point you in the right direction. Maybe it's someone like me, someone you see online that has a course that's proven that they know what they're doing, and you go and you say, you know what, this is my guy or this is my person, I'm going to follow what they're doing. Whoever it is, find someone who has been there, done that, and can help you avoid all of the pitfalls that you are inevitably going to get into, and avoid all the pitfalls that you probably have already fallen into when you tried to make this work previously. The only reason I'm here doing this, what I'm doing, still successfully 14 years later, is because I've had a number of mentors along the way. People that I look to for advice, people that I look to for support, people that I look to say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, can you point me in the right direction? And having the support of those people not only made it more fun, but it made me more successful. It gave me a resource when things weren't going well, so I could reach out to them and be like, hey, what's going on? Why isn't this working? Get feedback and then adjust accordingly. Finding a mentor doesn't have to be this formal thing, but I suggest you get active. Find the people online or in your community or in your real life that are doing the thing you want to do and comment on their stuff. Say hi, set up a coffee date, whatever it is. Start building those relationships because those are the people that are going to help you get from point A to point B. And I honestly would not be here if it weren't for the mentors in my own life. Step number 4, this is going to be the most tactical step here, and that is to set a schedule. When you're building a freelance writing business for yourself, you're probably treating it like a side thing. You're like, it's this thing I'm doing on the side, it's this hobby. No, this is your business, this is your job, and you have to treat it like one. Even if you only have 5 hours a week to work on it, you need to set a schedule so when the time comes, it's just like any other meeting in your day job. When you've put on your schedule, you are going to work on your business from 7 to 9 tomorrow night, you better show up and work on your business from 7 to 9 tomorrow night. This isn't something that can be pushed. This is a commitment you are making to yourself and to your future, and you need to treat it as such. More importantly, make sure you not only know when you are going to work, but what you are going to do, so that when you sit down, there is no doubt in your mind, there is no ambiguity around what you should be doing, so that you can sit down and get right to work. This is especially true if you have a day job, if you have kids, if this is something you're going to be doing in your spare time and your time is limited. So the way I like to do this is I spend 20 minutes every Sunday basically laying out my week. This is what I'm doing Monday, this is what I'm doing Tuesday, this is what I'm doing Wednesday, this is what I'm going to work on each day, and then making sure I'm holding myself accountable for it. It may seem like a small thing, but having that schedule and getting into the habit of sticking to your schedule is one of the very best things you can do, and I'm willing to bet that part of the reason you may have failed previously is because you didn't set that schedule, and if you did, you didn't stick to it. Finally, the last thing you need to do if you want to build a freelance writing business after failing, this is something I can almost guarantee if you failed, then you are not doing this, and that is you need to celebrate the small wins and adopt the milestone mindset. So often people get started, they get blinded by YouTube videos where it's like, freelance writing, you can make so much money, it's great, it's the best thing ever. And so your goal is like, I want to make 10 grand a month and then quit my job within 3 months. Guess what? That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I mean, it might, but it's probably not going to happen. Hate to break it to you. But that might happen in a year, might happen in even like 9 months. It all depends. But what you need to do is get rid of that like 0 versus 1 mentality. I have not reached that goal, I have reached that goal. Because what happens when you do that is when you're 6 months in and you've actually made a bunch of progress, you're still going to see a big fat 0 on the scoreboard. And you'll be like, I suck, I'm a failure. Guess what? You're not a failure. You just need to start celebrating your milestones, celebrating the smaller wins. So instead of that one big ass, I'm gonna make 10 grand a month and quit my job, set dozens of smaller milestones that are actionable and attainable and celebrate those when you hit them. So maybe the very first thing is buy a domain for your website. Great. Take you 5 minutes. SeanOgle.com. Cool. Celebrate that. Then get a hosting account and install WordPress. Great, celebrate that. Send your very first letter of introduction. Celebrate that. Every single time you hit one of those milestones, that's a chance to celebrate. That's a chance to build positive momentum. That's a chance to feel good about yourself as opposed to feeling like crap because you haven't gotten where you want to be. And when you start putting this into practice and you start celebrating those milestones, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel less like an imposter. You're going to start getting that positive momentum rolling. And that's what's going to allow you to get over that initial hump when things are a little bit harder and you're still not sure how it's going to go. And when you get that first client, you're going to celebrate that in a big way. And you're going to carry that into getting the next one and the next one. And before you know it, you are a full-time successful freelance writer. So there are all sorts of other tips you could use for kickstarting a freelance writing career, but this has been my experience, especially if you've dealt with failure in the past and you don't have the confidence you need. Doing these 5 things is going to allow you to regain that confidence, build your side hustle, and start having more fun in the process. If you got some value out of this, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Location Rebel, where we teach you how to make money on the internet with your words. If that sounds like something you want to do, you can hop on our email list. We've got a free 6-day course that's going to walk you through exactly how to get started doing this. So if you thought this video was helpful, I think that that email course might also be helpful. Drop a comment if you have any questions. And with that, I hope you have an excellent, excellent day. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.